Hi guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're checking out another video from Jovie's home, and this is 4 reasons I won't work in the USA. Well, before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's find out why.
Your colleagues aren't gonna say like, oh my gosh, look at Jan, like he took a week off, like, oh my gosh, what a lazy person. Like, hi, welcome to Jovie's home. I post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Today we are doing a part 2 of the Why I Won't Land in America series. You guys had a reaction to that video, Why I Won't Ever Move Back to the States. That really blew me away. Thank you for your positivity and for your support and for your reaction. That was a very scary video for me to post, but you guys were so encouraging that I continue, and today we are going to do that. So this is going to be another part of that series, and this one is going to be called Why I Won't Work in America. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes, and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. Because before we get into the video, I do want to address a couple of things. Number one, you can see the background is different behind me. I am visiting my aunt in her house in France and filming in her house. Also, it might be a bit echoey. Her house is like with special vaulted ceilings and things, so it is quite echoey. Hopefully the sound quality is not too terrible.
Don't worry about it. My quality is...
It is what it is, okay? That's
worst.
our situation. And of course, we have to do a few disclaimers. I'm gonna try to be
That
brief,
was 3 years ago.
and maybe
per
we can
video.
even put here on the screen when the disclaimers are done, in case you just want to skip over it. But I do want to say these things because I think they're important for people who don't know me or people who haven't watched my channel before, that they understand kind of like where I'm coming from and why I'm making these kind of videos, because I think that's important to know. So the reason that I want to make these videos now is because I love the United States and I love living there, and I'm so grateful to all of the opportunities that I've had when I did live there. They've enabled me to, have the life that I have now, and I don't take that lightly either.
Some people think that because you prefer something, you hate the other, right? I've gotten a lot of comments also like, and these are from Filipinos, right? Who, I think I deleted that video, it was long ago. It was like comparing Thailand to the Philippines. So I was just saying the things that I think are better there, but I didn't say it's not as good here, obviously. And obviously some of our videos too, we say a lot of crazy things about the Philippines. Not crazy, but we say we don't necessarily like the transportation system. So obviously some people are gonna hate on that, but it doesn't mean I don't like living here or I hate it here. It's like, yeah, we could do better and I would prefer this, but I'm not saying I don't like this, right? I mean, some of the things I don't like. And if I prefer chocolate over vanilla, doesn't mean that I will never eat vanilla or I don't like vanilla. It's just preference. So people need to understand that.
But my perspective has changed after living out of the country for 11 years and seeing how life can be somewhere else. It really puts a few things in perspective. And I'm not saying that everyone should now come and move to the Netherlands or to Europe because that's the solution.
It's not going to be for everybody.
I make these videos kind of in the hopes of educating people who live in the United States about what the reality is like and what it actually feels like when you have some of the certain social protections in place that I will be talking about in these videos. So the main purpose of these videos is to share my experience, to educate you. By you, I mean any Americans that might be watching.
I'm not even American.
I do hope that you guys will share this video.
But I'm
either
here
on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, like however, Reddit, I don't know, whatever you guys want to share it on. so that more people will have an opportunity to hear about it and just hear a reality or like the real side of what it feels like for just a regular normal person who is living in Europe after life in America. So that's the purpose here. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't wish to inspire political change, because I do. I do wish there to be a lot of political changes in the United States. I think that the system is broken and corrupt, and I don't think that the way that it's going now, like it's just getting worse and worse. Like with each election, it's getting worse and worse. There's just way too much power in political action committees, in lobbyists, and I think that corporations have way too much power. There is too much power concentrated in the hands of those who have money, and not enough power in those who are like working class, normal people. And by making these videos, I hope that you guys will hear how things are different in Europe and be inspired to
make a difference,
maybe
change.
vote for different types of candidates, or look for, maybe hear about some things that you might also value for yourself in the States, and be inspired to go a different way if those things sound good. And then lastly, like one effect of the videos that I've been making has had, and that I'm so grateful for when I see these comments from my Dutch viewers, is that when you guys tell me that seeing my video makes you guys appreciate your country more, things that maybe you
I don't
for granted, that
like we talk about this too, even the 6 minutes when the guy was talking about the bus. Like, I hope that it makes you appreciate when I told you my part of the story. Like, time is irrelevant here, like nobody cares for time. I hope that it makes you guys appreciate the 6 minutes that you have to wait for the next bus, because there's no such thing as time to wait for something here, unless you're taking like those buses, and even those buses, they're late. Like when I was coming back from my vacation, I took a 10:30 bus, but it left at 11. So you can buy a bus ticket that says it will leave at this certain time, but it's always Filipino time in the Philippines. Like, there's no such thing as whatever is written. Like, I went to I even took a video. I went to my mobile place to get a new SIM card because I lost it. I think I said this before. And I made an appointment online for 12 noon. And they accommodated all the walk-ins until 1:30. They accommodated me because I had to, like, how do you say this, complain. And then they accommodated me. I was like, why do you have to wait so long? Why do I even have to make an online appointment if like nobody cares for time? So I hope you guys appreciate when they actually, like, those time frames that you guys get is so little in my eyes. 6 minutes waiting for the next bus is so little, right?
By listening to me, you realize how good it actually is. Like, those might be some of my favorite comments that I receive, because the Netherlands is great, and it's not perfect. No country is perfect, okay? So I'm not saying that it's perfect, but it's also good not to just complain or be negative all the time, but it's also really nice to
I'm always complaining.
Just step back for a moment and be grateful.
It's because, like, I hear all these great things and I'm like, why is it not nice here? I mean, it's nice. Like, people are so lovely. That's the thing. It's like, people are so nice. Everybody's great. I love it here, but the only problem is our system. Okay, our system is crazy. The system is whack, but everything else is so beautiful. The food, the people, the beach, the everything, the life is great. Just the system in place is whack. Okay, I'm done complaining.
Perfect,
as always.
But It's also good not
Welcome
to
to my
just
videos.
complain or be negative all the time, but it's also really nice to just step back for a moment and be grateful for the life that we have, because as you're going to hear in this video, because I'm going to tell you 4 reasons that I don't want to work in the United States. Those 4 reasons are things that we don't need to worry about in the Netherlands, and for that I'm grateful, and hopefully you'll be grateful too. Okay, disclaimers are done. Let's get into the 4 reasons why I won't work in the United States.
Go on.
Unlike in the previous video, where I was just totally ranting and emotional, in this video I do actually have some notes. I did prepare
always
a little
ranting
bit.
and emotional.
The passion is equal, the emotion is equal, but I tried to be a little bit more organized for you guys. So, number 1, I will not work in the United States because of the situation with employment contracts. So in case you don't know,
I think we heard this yesterday, right?
In the United States, most people work without employment contracts.
That's
Most
really
companies
crazy.
that enter into employment relationships with their employees do so on what is called an at-will basis. At-will means that either the employee or the employer may end the relationship at any time, for any reason, with no notice. So you might go into your job that you've been at for 10 years thinking, okay, like today is just a day like any other, and your boss can just fire you. Boom, done.
That's crazy.
You don't have a contract in place to protect you, and now you are jobless. This is
Can we request for a contract?
And shocking to me. You know, this is very clearly something that is pro-company, anti-employee. And I'm just not for that. Like, I don't want to work in a place where I don't have some kind of employment security guaranteed with a contractual relationship, like with a contractual basis. I do want to add that there are some jobs, like some specific types of jobs or some roles where there will be like a contract in place, but this is usually for like high level executives, like CEOs, or people in very technical positions with like a very specific kind of knowledge, or maybe people, you know, whose job is like you need a security clearance or something, like a secretive kind of job. There are employment contracts for jobs like that, but for the majority of people, for like the most like regular working class, like normal people, there is no employment contract with the employer, and I don't like that. I don't want that. I do really enjoy having like the peace of mind that comes with having an employment contract, and that feels really good as an employee. From personal experience, I didn't work any harder or any less hard when I had or didn't have an employment contract. It doesn't suddenly make you like super lazy just because you have a contract for an indefinite period of time. But it just gives you a little bit of peace of mind, and I think that that's a great feeling. Number 2. The number 2 reason why I won't work in the United States is the absolutely absurd sick leave policy. Okay.
I want to hear this.
On the federal level, the government does have something in place called the Family and Medical Emergency Leave Act. Okay. And this is something that is in place that allows you to take up to 12 weeks of leave from your job for certain medical or family reasons. Sounds good, right? Like, sounds like a reasonable thing. Here's the thing. It's not paid. So you can leave your job for 3 months, not paid,
Where you get money?
zero salary, to go and deal with like a family medical emergency. Or, for example, you know, if you
let's say
if you become a father, so like, you know, you can use it for paternity leave, or
something happens to you,
you can use this, but it's not paid. So the only thing that leave does is kind of guarantee that you'll have a job when you come back, if you come back. But that's not sick leave. Like, that's not what I consider to be sick leave. Okay. That's not right. I mean, of course, employers can pay that if they want to, but there's not many employers being like, hey, let me just pay you for something that I don't actually have to pay you. Like, people aren't doing that, you know. However, most jobs, they will give employees some kind of what they call a sick leave time. And in my experience, in pretty much all the jobs that I held when I was in the United States, my sick time allotment was 5 days per year.
So
5
you're
days.
only allowed to be sick five
So
times
in
in a
January,
year.
I had to think about, okay, when am I going to get sick? If am I going to get sick? I really hope I don't get sick twice this year. Like heaven forbid you get the flu twice. And then also,
Imagine
what
COVID
about, like, more
times.
serious issues? Like, okay, a cold is one thing, and that's like the more common thing. But like, what if you have cancer? In my previous job that I had, like my regular job, not my fancy YouTube job, but like my more regular job that I
Fancy
had, like a
YouTube
traditional job. I did have a colleague who had who developed a cancer, and she didn't come to work for I think like 8 months or so, maybe between 6 and 8 months. And
No
she
pay.
was being treated for this, and she was, going to the doctor. And of course, like when you have a diagnosis like that and it's really serious illness, 5 days is not going to cover it. And in her case, the Family Emergency Medical Leave Act also would not have covered it.
Yeah.
Those 3 months would have run out, and then she would have been jobless. So not only would she have been sick, but she would also have been broke, because who's going to hire you while you are sick? And then just as a side note, but will be a separate video about this, usually your medical insurance is tied to your job. So if you lose
Don't
your
have a job, you don't
because
have
of the
oh my
sickness,
gosh.
you not only lose your job, but you
They need
also
to
lose
work
your medical
around
insurance,
something like
which
this
is crazy.
because it's
like it's
not
just
impossible.
so unfair. Like it is just such a crappy system to have in place, and it's just so awful for the
Yeah, the system needs to be better. The way they make this things, they have to change it. They have to change the sick leave. I feel like the reason why Europe or Netherlands, let's just say Europe, is doing so well in the workplace and in general is because their system is so good. So it's basically because they're really good at engineering things, not only like equipments, machineries, and stuff like that, but also they are really good at engineering an organized, systematic way of doing something. And that is why it works in their country. And that's why it doesn't work here and in America, because our system is either corrupt or is disorganized. So we really have to like look and try to figure out why their system is working and ours is not. And then why don't we try to fix it or learn from them, right? Like if you are having a class with your friend, like let's say your sitmate is always getting the mathematical equations right and you don't, what do? You either copy them or you ask, hey, can you teach me how to do it? Right? So why are we not doing that?
to have in place, and it's just so awful for the millions and millions and millions of people who have just like regular normal jobs. I don't know. Number 3. So the number 3 reason why I don't want to work in the United States is the absolutely ridiculous holiday or vacation leave allowances that they offer. So in general, and of course every company decides this for themselves because there's no regulation like there is at the European Union level or even like within the Dutch legal system. Employers aren't like required to give you any vacation, but if they do, they usually give about 2 weeks. So most people in the United States have 2 weeks per year of vacation time. 2 weeks, you guys. I mean, 10 days, like two weeks. And from that, you need to take...
But over here, the leaves are also it depends what job actually. But for most jobs, you also get Christmas, New Year's off. Like those, yeah, those you get those breaks off as well. Um but on top of your 2 weeks required leave, not necessarily required, but of course we're Filipinos, we take it. So what some people do is they just add it to your Christmas break or whatever other breaks that are long, they'll take it.
Christmas time, like if you have like something that you need to do, like I don't know, you need to go to your kids' school for like some event, you take a vacation day, so you get 10 days off a year. Like, what is that? Like, that to me is inhumane. Like if you're working, and that's also if you're working full time, of course, but like it's just so little, and you're working. And a lot of people, they don't even take those 2 weeks because the culture of at work is just, it's very different in the United States, and it's kind of frowned upon in a way to actually take vacation unless it's something.
I'll be like, yo, can I take my coworkers vacation if they don't want to take it? Because that's your problem. Look at me however you want, but I'm going. I'm going. Or else I'm gonna start pulling all your hair out. So let's go.
In a way to actually take vacation unless it's something like a honeymoon, or like unless it's like something like really like a big thing. But like for you to say, oh, every summer we take a week to go on holiday, and then every whatever Christmas we do a week holiday somewhere, like that's not really done. Like it's just not really done. And in Europe, it's
you have
just
problems.
such a different approach. There's just so much more of a balance in terms of, like, well, in the Netherlands we get mandated. It's 20 days if you're working full time, so like 4 times your weekly working hours or whatever. So you get, basically 4 weeks, but a lot of employers, in my experience, they actually give even 5 weeks off. So it's 25 days that I've had. Even that can
like a
sometimes
month.
not feel like enough. And some people give more, some people get, something like that. But at least you can really, and you're encouraged to go and take those days. Like you are encouraged to go and have a rest moment. Like whether you're going somewhere or you're taking you're staying at home, but you are encouraged to take the time off work. And your colleagues aren't gonna say like, oh my gosh, look at Jan, like he took a week off, like, oh my gosh, what a lazy person. Like that doesn't happen.
I don't care.
It's not like that. It's really
I'm going.
It's a very different feeling, the approach to actually like taking rest and coming back and then being a strong employee again. That's very much encouraged. So I don't know, you guys, you will of course let me know in the comments below what your impressions are, what you think of this and what your experiences are. But just from me, like these are my experiences, so I'm sharing them with you.
Number 4.
The 4th reason why I don't want to work in the United States is that it is actually legal for some jobs to be paid less than minimum wage. This is such
Less than
unfair,
minimum wage? What?
law, or like it's such an unfair thing for me after being in Europe and understanding, like, and seeing the effect of what it looks
It's like it's already
when
minimum and
everybody
you're gonna
is
give
paid
it
a living
less.
wage, no matter what job they have. It's really crappy in the States. So in case you don't know, there are some positions. The one that comes to mind the most is people who work in restaurants. So people who serve your food in a restaurant in the United States, they are allowed to be paid less than minimum wage. And the reason
Is it because of tips?
Because they are receiving tips. So the way that the system works is that the employer can pay the employee something like $2 or $3, maybe $4 an hour, knowing that the rest of the money is going to be coming from people who visit that restaurant and leave a tip. So that's why, you guys have commented, those of you who've been to the United States and have gone to restaurants in the United States are like, this service is like a little bit overboard. People are just coming up to me too much. They're saying they're checking on me all the
because they
time,
want
seeing if I need
tips.
something all the time. I'm like, lady, I'm eating. Like, leave me alone. But the reason for that is because they are really trying to make sure that you are happy with their service. So
But
that
that's
you will
over
leave them
service.
a tip to make up for the fact that their employer is not paying them a living wage, which is just horrifying. Like,
it's really horrifying.
it really upsets me very, very much that
if you get it,
have people
because
in
you're
these
like
positions
holding
that
yourself
basically
so that you can
have
not
to beg the patrons of
sexually,
the restaurant,
but
in a certain way, through their actions, to leave them more money, and that you, as a person who is going to a restaurant, even if the service was not maybe what you expected, maybe you didn't like your food, or maybe you didn't like the service, or maybe it just wasn't what you wanted, you still feel obligated to leave. I mean, I personally leave 20% on every, regardless of how bad the service is. And if the service is actually really great, I leave more than 20%. But generally, between 15 and 20% is the kind of expectation that the person who is going to the restaurant, paying for their meal, is still on top of their bill gonna pay an extra 20%. So that just seems backwards.
And also, what if I really just wanted to, so maybe just go to fast food restaurant, because I was gonna say, what if you just really have enough for a meal, you're also struggling, and then now you're required to freaking pay tip. But then I just answered my question. I think you can just go to fast food, right? Because you don't have to tip there, right? Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know.
Instead of the restaurants just building into the prices of their food whatever it's going to cost for them to be able to pay a living wage to their servers, who will then be able to treat you like a normal person, instead of just constantly being so stressed, are you happy, are you happy, are you happy,
then stressing the customer.
It's just wrong to me to pay people less than a minimum living, not just minimum wage, but a living wage. Your job is constantly not secure because you don't have an employment contract, you don't have sick leave, you don't have a guaranteed minimum living wage if you're a server in a restaurant. I mean, it's just really mind-blowing that there are people, not mind-blowing, I mean, people have to work, so people are going to do what they have to do, but that they accept the system to be like that and to think that that's okay when it's not okay.
Maybe because they don't know that it's outside there's better.
You deserve to not be so stressed or afraid all the time. Okay, you guys, so those are my reasons why I will never work in the United States. Please let me know your thoughts below. Again, if you're American, this is not meant to be hateful. I'm not trying to be like this girl that's just telling you how wonderful and amazing it is in the Netherlands, because it's, you can't necessarily just pick up and move your life, but the approach to work is different, the feeling in the workplace is different, the quality is different, and then certainly the lack of fear. It's just stress is really lifted off quite a lot when you're not afraid that you're going to lose your job for being sick or, for any other reason, because you're an at-will employee and you can lose your job at any time for any reason, just because, with no notice, So, I don't know. I do encourage you to, look at the politicians in the upcoming elections. What are their stands? What do they, advocate for? But I mean, on a real policy level, not just the ones that say, I love workers, and then ship your job off to China. Really look at the actions and not just the words of the politicians. See what they've done in the past, how they voted in the past, and really know who is actually looking out for your best interest, because that's what a government is supposed to do. It's supposed to look after its citizens and not just after it's, you know, billionaires
It's
and it's
pockets.
corporations. So yeah. All right, you guys. That's it. That's this video. Thank you so much for coming over. Thank you so much for any time that you
Thank you guys, and thank you Jovie for this beautiful, insightful video. Yeah, I do agree though. Like, our leaders should lead properly, not corruptly. Is there somebody who, because sometimes power, like, they could be selfless, right? And then when they get into the position, the power can consume them. So that is also a fear. But I hope one day we'll get somebody who doesn't let the power get to them and actually have this selfless nature about them to want to improve the country. One day. One day. But anyways, thank you guys for joining. If you have other things that you want to say, let me know down in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.